love your work. There are two kinds of people in this world. Those who go to work because they have to, and those who go to work because they want to. The difference between the two is staggering. One group wakes up dreading the day ahead, counting down the hours until they can go home. The other wakes up excited, ready to contribute, energized by the opportunity to make a difference. The secret to a fulfilling career isn't about what you do, it's about how you see it. Work is not just about paying bills. It's about creating meaning, making an impact, and finding purpose in what you do. If you don't love your work, it's not because your work isn't worth loving, it's because you haven't connected it to something bigger than yourself. The goal is not to find the perfect job. The goal is to create the right mindset, and when you do, everything changes. For too many people, work is a means to an end. It's something they do to survive, to keep a roof over their heads, to put food on the table. And while financial stability is important, it is not enough to sustain long-term fulfillment. The most successful and fulfilled individuals are those who see their work as a means to contribute, to grow, and to create meaning in their lives. Money is a necessity, but it is not a motivator. When financial rewards are the only reason for working, motivation fades and burnout follows. People who work only for a paycheck find themselves trapped in a cycle of dissatisfaction. The real secret to enjoying work is not in how much you earn, but in how much you grow and contribute through your work. When you begin to see work as an opportunity, rather than an obligation, everything changes. Work is an opportunity to make an impact, to challenge yourself, and to develop new skills. It's an opportunity to contribute to something bigger than yourself, to make a difference in the lives of others, and to leave a lasting legacy. People who love what they do don't necessarily have the easiest jobs. In fact, they often take on more responsibility, embrace bigger challenges, and push themselves beyond their comfort zones. But what keeps them going is the sense that their work matters. They wake up every morning knowing they are part of something important, something that wouldn't be the same without them. Meaningful work is about contribution. It's about understanding how your role fits into the bigger picture. Whether you are a teacher shaping young minds, a doctor saving lives, or an entrepreneur solving real-world problems, the key to fulfillment is recognizing the value you bring. Even in jobs that may seem mundane, there is an opportunity to contribute. A barista isn't just making coffee, they are creating an experience for customers. A janitor isn't just cleaning floors, they are ensuring a safe and healthy environment for others. Every role has significance when you choose to see it that way. The biggest mistake people make is waiting for the perfect job to find meaning. Meaning is not found, it is created. You can find meaning in any job by shifting your focus from what you do to how you do it. The best employees are not necessarily the ones in the highest paying positions. They are the ones who bring passion, dedication, and a sense of purpose to their work. To find meaning in your work, ask yourself, who benefits from what I do? How does my work contribute to a larger mission? What skills am I developing that will help me grow? What impact do I have on my colleagues and customers? When you start asking these questions, your work transforms from a daily grind into an opportunity for fulfillment. Workplace culture plays a huge role in whether people find meaning in their jobs. Leaders who foster an environment of trust, respect, and purpose create teams that are engaged and motivated. On the other hand, a toxic work environment where employees feel undervalued and replaceable leads to disengagement and dissatisfaction. Great leaders understand that their job is not just to manage tasks, but to inspire people. They help employees connect their work to a bigger purpose. They encourage innovation, reward effort, and create an environment where people feel safe to take risks and grow. Loving your work isn't just about passion, it's also about discipline. Passion gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. People who love their work the most are not necessarily the ones who feel inspired every day. They are the ones who commit to showing up, putting in the effort, and pushing through challenges even when motivation fades. When you cultivate discipline, you create a habit of excellence. You learn to find meaning even in the hard days. You develop resilience, adaptability, and a sense of pride in what you do. The choice to see work as an opportunity rather than an obligation is entirely yours. The most successful and fulfilled people are not those who chase the biggest salaries or the most prestigious titles. They are the ones who wake up each day knowing their work matters. And that choice to love what you do is available to you right now. Most people don't hate their jobs, they hate the lack of purpose in their jobs. It's not the work itself that drains them, it's the feeling that what they do doesn't matter. Human beings are wired for meaning, for contribution, for impact. When those things are missing, work becomes exhausting, frustrating, and unfulfilling. But when purpose is present, even the most challenging jobs can become a source of energy, motivation, and pride. A job without purpose feels like a burden, no matter how high the paycheck. That's why people in well-paying positions still feel miserable, and why some of the happiest people in the world work in roles that society may not consider prestigious. The difference isn't in the work itself, it's in how they perceive their work. Purpose transforms a job into a mission, a task into a contribution, and a paycheck into a legacy. People don't hate working hard. In fact, some of the most driven individuals work long hours, face obstacles, and push through challenges daily. But they do it because they see a reason behind their efforts. When people have a strong why, the how becomes easier. The exhaustion that comes from a job without meaning is very different from the exhaustion that comes from fulfilling work. One drains you, the other fuels you. One feels like a dead end, the other feels like a stepping stone to something greater. Purpose is not about the job title or the industry, it's about connection. Do you feel connected to the work you do? Do you believe it makes a difference? Do you see how your role fits into a bigger picture? When those answers are unclear, disengagement sets in. Employees start to feel like cogs in a machine, replaceable and unimportant. But when people understand the value they bring, when they see how their work impacts others, everything changes. Great leaders recognize this. They don't just focus on efficiency and results. They focus on purpose. They help employees see how their efforts contribute to a larger vision. They create an environment where people feel valued, seen, and essential. And when people feel essential, they show up differently. They bring more energy, more commitment, and more creativity. They stop working just for a paycheck and start working for a cause. Imagine a janitor in a hospital. If that person sees their role as simply cleaning floors, the job may feel mundane. But if they understand that their work contributes to a sterile, safe environment for patients and doctors, suddenly the task takes on a deeper significance. They are not just mopping a floor. They are part of a team that saves lives. That shift in perspective is what makes the difference between a job that drains and a job that fulfills. Organizations that fail to provide purpose lose their best people. It's not just about money or benefits, it's about feeling like the work matters. Employees who find meaning in their jobs are more loyal, more engaged, and more motivated. Those who don't will eventually leave, or worse, stay, but disengage. A disengaged employee may physically show up, but mentally they are already gone. And when an entire workplace is filled with disengaged employees, the culture suffers, productivity plummets, and innovation disappears. But when an organization is built on purpose, everything shifts. Employees don't just work for their own success, they work for the success of the mission. They support each other, push each other, and inspire each other. The workplace becomes more than just a place to earn a living, it becomes a place to make a difference. And when that happens, the impact extends far beyond the office walls. Purpose-driven work leads to better products, better services, and better experiences for customers. When employees believe in what they do, they go the extra mile. They care more, they innovate more, and they create with passion. And customers can feel that difference. They don't just buy a product or service. They buy into the energy and authenticity behind it. The good news is that finding purpose in work isn't just the responsibility of leaders, it's something everyone can cultivate. It starts with asking different questions. Instead of asking, what do I have to do today? Ask, who will benefit from what I do today? Instead of saying, I have to go to work, say, I get to contribute today. Small shifts in perspective create massive changes in engagement and fulfillment. For those who feel stuck in jobs that lack purpose, the answer isn't always quitting and finding something new. Often the purpose is already there, it just needs to be uncovered. Look for ways your work impacts others. Seek out opportunities to grow, to mentor, to contribute beyond the basic job description. The more you engage, the more meaning you create. People don't hate their jobs. They hate the feeling that their jobs don't matter. But when they find purpose, when they connect their work to something bigger than themselves, everything changes. They wake up with energy, they tackle challenges with determination, they end their days with a sense of accomplishment rather than exhaustion. And that is what makes the difference between just having a job and truly loving your work. Purpose transforms work from an obligation to an opportunity. Most people go to work because they have to, not because they want to. They wake up, go through the motions, do what's required, and count down the hours until they can leave, and then they do it all over again the next day. But those who find purpose in what they do experience work in an entirely different way. Work becomes more than just a job. It becomes a platform for growth, contribution, and impact. It becomes something they look forward to, something that fuels them instead of draining them. When work lacks purpose, it feels like a burden. It feels like something you endure rather than something you embrace. That's why so many people feel stuck. They look at work as something separate from life, something they must do before they can enjoy themselves. But when work is infused with purpose, it stops being just about paying bills. It becomes a way to bring value to the world, to develop new skills, to make a difference. It becomes something you get to do rather than something you have to do. People who love their work don't necessarily have the easiest jobs. They often face challenges, long hours, and moments of frustration, but what keeps them going is the understanding that what they do matters. They don't just see tasks, they see the impact of those tasks. They don't just complete assignments, they contribute to something bigger than themselves. And that shift in perspective makes all the difference. Imagine two bricklayers working side by side. One sees his job as simply laying bricks, one after another, day after day. The other sees himself as building a cathedral, a place where people will gather, worship, and find peace for generations to come. The work is the same, but the meaning behind it is completely different. The first bricklayer is fulfilling an obligation. The second is seizing an opportunity to create something meaningful. This is the power of purpose. Organizations that prioritize purpose create stronger, more engaged teams. Employees who understand how their work contributes to a larger mission are more committed, more innovative, and more resilient. They don't just do the minimum required, they go above and beyond. They take pride in their work because they know it matters. And when people take pride in what they do, they perform at a higher level. Leaders play a crucial role in creating a sense of purpose. Great leaders don't just tell people what to do, they help them understand why it matters. They connect everyday tasks to a bigger vision. They create a culture where people feel valued, where they know their contributions make a difference. And when people feel valued, they don't just work harder, they work smarter, with more passion and dedication. But purpose isn't just something leaders provide, it's something each individual must find for themselves. It's easy to blame a job, a boss, or a company for lack of motivation. But purpose isn't something handed to you, it's something you create. No matter what you do, there is an opportunity to find meaning. It might come from the impact you have on customers, the support you provide to your colleagues, or the personal growth you experience through your work. The key is to shift your mindset from seeing work as a duty to seeing it as a privilege. Even in the most routine jobs, purpose can be found. A bus driver isn't just driving a vehicle. He's ensuring people get to their destinations safely. The most successful and fulfilled people approach work with a sense of purpose. They don't wake up dreading Monday. They see it as another opportunity to grow, to contribute, to make a difference. They don't wait for motivation to strike. They create it by focusing on the impact of their efforts. They don't just think about what they have to do, they think about why they're doing it. If work feels like an obligation, it's time to redefine it. Look for ways your role contributes to something bigger. Seek out challenges that push you to grow. Find meaning in the people you help, the problems you solve, the skills you develop. Purpose is not about the job itself, it's about how you approach it. And when you choose to see work as an opportunity rather than an obligation, everything changes. You stop enduring your job and start embracing it. You stop counting down the hours and start making every hour count. You stop working just to make a living and start working to make a difference. And that is how purpose transforms work into something truly fulfilling. Most people believe that if they feel unfulfilled in their jobs, the answer is to find a new one. They think that changing their environment, their company, or their industry will suddenly bring them meaning. But the truth is, meaning doesn't come from the job itself, it comes from the perspective we bring to it. A new job may feel exciting at first, but without a shift in mindset, the same dissatisfaction will eventually return. The key to finding meaning isn't about changing jobs. It's about changing how we see our work. Perspective shapes everything. Two people can have the same role, the same responsibilities, and the same daily tasks, yet one will feel engaged and fulfilled, while the other feels drained and stuck. The difference isn't in the work itself, it's in how they approach it. The person who sees their job as a means to an end, a paycheck, or a set of mundane obligations will struggle to find meaning, but the person who sees their job as a way to contribute, to grow, and to make a difference will find purpose in even the smallest of tasks. The problem is that we've been conditioned to believe that fulfillment comes from external factors. We tell ourselves, if I had a different job, I'd be happier. If my boss were better, I'd be more motivated. If I worked in a different industry, I'd feel more inspired. But these are all excuses. While external factors do play a role, real fulfillment doesn't come from changing where you work. It comes from changing how you work. Instead of waiting for meaning to appear, create it. Start by looking at your job through a new lens. Ask yourself, who benefits from what I do? How does my work impact others? What skills am I developing? What challenges am I overcoming? These questions shift the focus from what's missing to what's present. They help you see the bigger picture and recognize that even the smallest contributions matter. Consider the difference between a worker who simply assembles products on a factory line and one who understands that those products will improve people's lives. The first sees repetition and routine. The second sees purpose and contribution. The work itself hasn't changed, only the mindset has. And that shift makes all the difference. Many people feel stuck because they've lost sight of why they started. They entered their careers with excitement, with a vision of making a difference. But over time, routine, stress, and external pressures can cloud that vision. To regain it, reconnect with the reasons you chose this path in the first place. Remember the excitement of your first day, the pride in your early accomplishments, the impact you hoped to make. When you reconnect with that initial purpose, work stops feeling like a burden and starts feeling like an opportunity again. Great leaders understand this principle. They don't just try to motivate their teams with higher salaries or better benefits. They help their people see the bigger picture. They remind them why their work matters. They create cultures where employees feel valued and connected to a mission greater than themselves. And when people feel that connection, they show up differently. They bring more energy, more dedication, and more passion to what they do. It's easy to blame a lack of fulfillment on external factors. It's harder to take responsibility for changing how we think. But those who make that shift find a new level of engagement in their work. They stop feeling like victims of circumstance and start feeling like active participants in their own success. They realize that meaning isn't something that's given, it's something that's created. This perspective applies to all aspects of life, not just work. Relationships, personal goals, and daily habits are all influenced by how we see them. When we choose to find meaning in what we do, we experience more fulfillment in every area. And that's why the most successful, happiest people aren't necessarily those with the best jobs, but those with the best perspective. If you feel stuck in your work, don't immediately look for a new job. Find the purpose in what you do. Connect with the impact you make. Recognize that fulfillment isn't waiting for you in some other office, in some other company, or in some other industry. It's right where you are, waiting to be uncovered. The moment you shift your mindset, everything changes. You don't just go to work, you go to contribute. You don't just complete tasks, you create impact. You don't just earn a paycheck, you build a legacy. And that is how perspective transforms work into something meaningful. Great leaders create environments where people love their work. Leadership is not about giving orders or controlling outcomes. It is about creating the conditions in which people thrive. The best leaders understand that their role is not to demand results, but to cultivate an environment where people feel safe, inspired, and valued. When people feel that they belong, when they feel that their contributions matter, they give more than what is required. They invest their energy, their creativity, and their passion into their work, not because they have to, but because they want to. A workplace where people love what they do does not happen by accident. It is the result of intentional leadership. Leaders who prioritize trust, respect, and purpose create a culture where people feel motivated and engaged. They do not see employees as disposable resources, but as valuable contributors to a shared mission. They take the time to listen, to understand, and to support their teams. In return, employees show up with enthusiasm and commitment. They bring their best selves to work every day because they know they are part of something meaningful. People do not love their work because of perks or paychecks alone. They love their work when they feel a sense of purpose and fulfillment. They love their work when they know their efforts are making a difference. This is why great leaders focus on more than just the bottom line. They focus on building strong relationships, fostering a sense of belonging, and reinforcing the bigger picture. They remind their teams why the work matters. They help people see the impact of what they do. When people understand that their work contributes to something greater than themselves, they feel a deep sense of motivation and satisfaction. Trust is the foundation of a great work environment. When employees trust their leaders, they are more willing to take risks, to innovate, and to share their ideas. They do not fear making mistakes because they know they will be supported, not punished. This trust allows creativity to flourish. It enables people to push boundaries, to challenge old ways of thinking, and to pursue new opportunities. Without trust, people hold back. They do only what is necessary to avoid criticism. They play it safe instead of striving for excellence. A culture of trust begins with leadership. Leaders must lead by example. They must be honest, transparent, and accountable. They must show their people that they care, not just about results, but about the individuals who make those results possible. When leaders put their teams first, when they prioritize people over profits, they create a workplace where people feel valued. And when people feel valued, they love their work. Another key aspect of a great work environment is the opportunity for growth. People do not want to feel stagnant. They want to learn, to improve, and to advance. Great leaders provide opportunities for development. They challenge their teams to stretch beyond their comfort zones. They encourage learning, provide mentorship, and create pathways for career progression. When people see that they have a future in an organization, they are more engaged, more committed, and more willing to invest in their work. Recognition also plays a crucial role in creating an environment where people love their work. Everyone wants to feel seen and appreciated. When leaders acknowledge hard work, when they celebrate achievements, they reinforce a culture of appreciation. Recognition does not have to be extravagant. A simple thank you, a note of appreciation, or a public acknowledgement can go a long way in making employees feel valued. When people feel that their efforts are noticed and appreciated, they are more motivated to continue giving their best. Great leaders also foster a sense of community. Leaders who build strong teams, who encourage collaboration, and who create spaces for meaningful interactions cultivate a culture where people feel a sense of belonging. And when people belong, they thrive. Ultimately, loving your work is not about the job itself. It is about the environment in which you do it. People do not need to have their dream job to feel fulfilled. They need to be part of a culture where they are respected, trusted, and inspired. Great leaders understand this. They do not just focus on results. They focus on the people who drive those results. They create workplaces where employees are engaged, where they feel safe to take risks, and where they are encouraged to grow. In doing so, they transform work from something people have to do. Loving your work is not something that happens to you. It is a decision you make every day. Too often, people wait for the perfect job, the perfect boss, or the perfect circumstances before they allow themselves to feel fulfilled. They believe that if they could just find the right position or the right company, they would finally be happy. But the truth is, fulfillment does not come from external factors. It comes from within. It is a mindset, a choice, an approach to work that allows people to find meaning no matter where they are. The biggest mistake people make is assuming that passion is something you find rather than something you cultivate. People spend years searching for the perfect job, the one that will finally make them feel inspired. They jump from role to role, from company to company, hoping that the next opportunity will be the one that gives them purpose. But purpose is not discovered, it is created. It is the result of the effort, commitment, and mindset we bring to our work every single day. No job is perfect. Every role has challenges, setbacks, and frustrations. But those who love their work are not the ones with the best circumstances. They are the ones who have chosen to find meaning in what they do. They approach each day with curiosity and enthusiasm. They look for ways to contribute, to learn, and to grow. They understand that fulfillment does not come from the work itself, but from the way they engage with it. Loving your work requires shifting your perspective. Instead of seeing tasks as obligations, see them as opportunities. Instead of focusing on what is missing, focus on what you can give. Instead of waiting for external motivation, create your own. Those who love their work do not rely on a perfect boss, a perfect team, or a perfect company. They take ownership of their experience. They take pride in what they do, no matter how small. They find joy in making a difference, even in ways that might seem insignificant. A common misconception is that loving your work means feeling happy all the time. This is not true. Even the most passionate individuals experience stress, fatigue, and difficult days. But what sets them apart is their ability to push through those challenges. They understand that struggles are part of the journey. They do not let bad days define their careers. Instead, they see them as moments of growth, opportunities to learn, resilience, and stepping stones to something greater. The best leaders and most fulfilled employees share one thing in common. They choose to see the bigger picture. They understand that their work is not just about tasks and responsibilities, it is about impact. It is about how their contributions help others, whether it is their customers, their colleagues, or their community. They find meaning in serving, in problem solving, and in creating value. This mindset transforms even the most ordinary work into something deeply rewarding. Loving your work also means embracing the process, not just the outcome. Many people fall into the trap of thinking that they will be happy once they reach a certain milestone, a promotion, a salary increase, or a new title. But fulfillment is not found in external rewards. It is found in the daily effort, in the moments of progress, in the small victories along the way. When you learn to appreciate the journey, you stop waiting for happiness and start experiencing it every day. At the heart of loving your work is a sense of gratitude. Those who love what they do are not necessarily in the best jobs. They are simply grateful for the opportunity to contribute. They focus on what they have instead of what they lack. They see challenges as learning experiences rather than burdens. They approach each day with appreciation, knowing that every task, every conversation, and every effort is an opportunity to make a difference. Ultimately, loving your work is not about luck. It is about choice. It is about deciding every day to engage, to care, and to give your best effort. It is about refusing to see work as a burden and choosing instead to see it as a privilege. When you make that decision, work stops being something you have to do and becomes something you get to do. And that shift changes everything.